Hey, my name is Eliam Fuentes, and in today's video, we're going to cover identity shifts for you to become influential. Now, this video that you're about to watch is a clip of a live call that I hosted, Faith-Driven Leadership Calls, where we cover the 5 following pillars such as faith, leadership, public speaking, communication, and emotional intelligence. So this clip and this video that you're going to watch is going to be about how to shift your identities so that you can become influential. So you can become an influential leader, so you can become an influential communicator, an influential person that gets the things you want in life. And it requires you to make the identity shifts and let go of all the past identities that you've been holding on to that do not serve you, that get in the way of you actually achieving your goals, your vision, your dreams. So what we're going to talk about in this video right here is the 5-step framework that can support you in shifting your identities. The first part is going to be event, experience, interpretation, belief, and choice. Watch the rest of the video to find out more, a deeper dive on how you can shift through it all and become influential. Excited for you to watch it. Let's get into what I wrote down. I have a couple of talking points that I'll share with you to talk about identity. One thing that I want to talk about is shifting your identity will support you in becoming influential. Meaning if you learn the ability to shift your identity, to shift who you are in the current moment and shape your beliefs into new beliefs, that is what's going to support you in becoming an influential leader, an influential entrepreneur, an influential professional, influential person all around, because you know how to identify, hey, what am I operating from right now and who do I get to operate from moving forward. Different identities will shape your path in your career. And a verse that I'll share with you that came to mind has supported me in shifting identities and will tie it into in storytelling has been this verse called 1 Timothy 4:12. It's, let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, in purity. And then it goes on to, till I come, give attention to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. And number 14 says, do not neglect the gift that is in you, which was given to you by prophecy with laying on the hands of the eldership. The two things that stuck out to me is, do not let no one despise your youth. Do not let no one despise the wisdom that you have. Do not let no one despise the beliefs that you have, and that if you operate from love, from faith, from purity, from experience, and do not neglect your gift along the way, that can elude for you becoming more of an influential person. Now, I share this verse with you because throughout the week, there's moments and times where we may be facing self-doubt, where we may be overthinking, or we may not be thinking that we're capable enough, that I'm not sure I should try that out or risk that. 1 Timothy 4:12 was the verse on there. And we face these doubts and these concerns of like, hey, I have this plan. I don't know if I could make it go through. So what supported me is that, hey, I may be youthful, I may have all these, maybe someone may not listen to me, but I do have the experience and the wisdom, and if I really lean into my gifts, that could actually support me in shifting my identity and continue being influential with everyone. So I share that with you because today you're going to learn on how to shift your identity and overcome those conversations of self-doubt and perfectionism. And I'm going to share with you a 5-step framework that I would learn from my mentors that has helped me shape my life, and then also it's going to support you in shaping your life. Now, what I'm going to share with you is this 5-step framework that can support you in identifying what identity are you associating with yourself at this moment, and what identity do you want to lean into and develop and create a new one. So the first part of this framework is called event, identifying the event. The second part is the experience. The third part is interpretation. The fourth part is belief. And the fifth part is choice. I'm going to repeat it multiple times throughout as I share with you here. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of our identities that we tend to associate with, and I want you to think of it in this moment right now, like what identities do you have that you're holding on to that are holding you back? Identities that may be not serving you or getting in the way of your goals, your vision, your dreams. And by you continuing to associate with these identities, they're going to continue holding you back. They're going to keep getting in the way of you achieving your goals. Identities such as, scarcity, anxiety, fear, pessimism, laziness, all these different identities that you end up adopting, these are behaviors and habits that get in the way of you achieving those goals that you set out for 2026, to becoming that influential person. And it's about finally being ready to let them go and decide, like, hey, we're going to leave these identities in the past and we're going to choose something else new in the present moment, day to day, month to month, year to year, because we're here to grow into the best version of ourselves. I don't know exactly what drew you in to join the webinar today, to join the live call today, to watch this video right now. But what I do know is that as humans, we have a desire and a connection to always want to get better in our life, to improve in our journey, to improve in who we are. And if we continue to hold on to those identities that do not serve us, that are not healthy for us, that keep us in a vicious cycle, then we're going to keep getting the same result. It reminds me of, I believe it's Albert Einstein. He said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And what I share with you is this story that I'll walk you through this framework. When I was about 11 years old, there was a big family incident in my life with my mother. She almost lost her life. And in that moment, at 11 years old, I had the honor and opportunity to be able to, save her life and influence in a way that can continue her to keep living. Now, I didn't always believe that. It didn't always feel like that, because in that moment when I had that event, what it felt like was that I needed to be perfect. I experienced things like scaredness, perfectionism, frustration, loneliness. I experienced worriedness. And from that worriness and that experience, I started interpreting it in a different way, meaning I need to say the perfect thing to her. I need to communicate the perfect message. I need to make sure I say the perfect thing. If not, she's not going to stay living. I need to be this perfect image, and all these overthinking and self-doubt were creeping in. So that's where I'm able to see that, okay, I have this interpretation of it, and I end up forming this belief that perfectionism and self-doubt is the identity I need to adopt. And these perfectionism and self-doubt, these identities and beliefs that I need to adopt, were now ingrained in me. Now, what I mean by that is that through the event that happened, through the experience that happened, through the interpretation and the belief that happened, I started to associate with this identity with myself. I'm sharing this with you because there is different events in your life, maybe it be in the present moment or things that happen in early developmental years, where these identities are the core at. That's where the root of these identities are at. For example, if you're a person that finds yourself overthinking, has an identity of overthinking, has an identity of anxiety, has an identity of worriness and these feelings and these emotions, that it's not because it's happening in the present moment, but because there's something in the past in your life that these identities are clinging onto and that they're holding onto. And is that when we figure out a way to really raise awareness on it, that we can pinpoint, hey, where are these things coming from? And when you understand where these old identities are placed in, that's when you begin to start having the opportunity to shift into something new. Because the fifth part of the framework is choice. Something I'll share with all of you right now is that as human beings, we have been given free will. We have been given choice. We have the opportunity and the privilege and the honor to be able to make decisions on our own. That we can choose something new, choose something different, choose a different decision, a different behavior, a different habit, a different action we could take in that very moment. So for example, if you're someone that is struggling with XYZ, you notice, hey, where does this event come from? Where does these feelings of perfectionism come from? Can I identify where they come from? What experience do I feel when I'm in this old identity? What are the experiences I'm feeling? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling frustrated? Am I worried? Lazy? What am I experiencing? What are the different things I'm experiencing? The third thing is interpretations, meaning how am I talking to myself about these things? What am I interpreting about this event that is triggering me? And what stories am I making up about this feeling? And then beliefs. Am I associating with these beliefs? Am I truly believing that that's who I am? Am I labeling myself as that I need to be perfect. The only way I survive is perfectionism. The only way I survive is self doubt. The only way I operate with is worry, and that's where I place my identity. If those beliefs become really strong and you're rooted in them, then they get in the way. They get in the way. And it's now about shifting those beliefs into something new. And that's where we talk about the power of choice. Number 5, because once you have all this awareness of, hey, I know where this stuff is coming from, I know what's getting in my way of my new identity, the identity of love, the identity of faith, the identity of joy, charisma, the identity of being influential, the identity of someone who's confident, someone who's courageous, someone who's strong. Well, in order for us to adopt those and really embody those type of identities, it requires us to let go of the past identities that hold us back, and then finding that window of opportunity is like, hey, I may be feeling down right now, but I'm not going to choose feeling down for the next 5 minutes. I'm going to choose being happy. I'm going to choose feeling joyful. I'm going to choose feeling confident, courageous, and really embodying that way of being and that identity, because that is what makes you influential. That is what makes you a stronger leader and a stronger person in that instance. So going through that 5-step framework can support you in with a tool from moment to moment and moment to moment for you to be able to support yourself in your leadership. And that's what I want to share with you about identity shifting into those beliefs, because I want today to be a call where you finally understand that you do have a choice, that you do have an opportunity to try something new, to adopt something new, to go after something new. And then once you identify the identity you're really looking to adopt, maybe an identity that is Christ-like, that is courageous, you start asking yourself these questions. You start asking yourself, what would a person that is courageous do? How would they communicate? What would they talk like? What would they wear? What would they sound like? How would they hold themselves? Who would they become? These new identities that you're looking for to really embody, you start asking yourself these questions. What behaviors and habits do these people have? Someone who is confident, what is it that they do? Okay, they do this, they do that, they do this. Well, someone who's courageous, what is it that they do? They do this, they do that, they do this. Okay, what are the steps that it takes for someone to be have an identity of humbleness, humility, generosity? Okay, well, they don't operate from weariness, they don't operate from scarcities. They actually operate from giving to people first. They operate from sharing their wisdom with other people. They operate with going out in the world and really making a difference, even if rejection comes and be a part of it, because they have that courage, they have that strength, that new identity. So what I want to share with all of you is that today being your reminder that you do have a choice to have a new identity, transform into something new so you can be more influential as a leader, as a person, and that you do have the choice to make that happen in your life. That all these things that may have happened to you in the past, they're not happening in the present, because in the future, who you're called to be and who you're called to become is that person that could shift their identities moment to moment, opportunity to opportunity. Whenever next time you face an old identity coming up, you're like, hey, I know where this is coming from. This is who I used to be, but who I am now is this new identity that I'm committed to be moving forward. So that's what I wanted to share with you about identity shifts. Rocio saying, I love this. And